Welcome back to the channel. Today, we are going to take a very positive and friendly look at a small but truly interesting piece of everyday history, the 1981 Australia 20-cent coin, an old and well-used coin that many people still find in their collections, wallets, and old family jars. This coin comes from the modern circulating coinage of the beautiful country of Australia, and it was produced by the Royal Australian Mint, the official mint that has been striking Australian coins since the 1960s. On the front side of this coin, we see the familiar portrait of Elizabeth II, which was the standard obverse design on Australian coins for many decades. The reverse side proudly shows one of Australia's most loved animals, the platypus, resting in calm water. This design has become iconic, and even people who are not coin collectors instantly recognize it. The 1981 issue belongs to a long and stable series of 20-cent coins that were created to be practical, durable, and easy to use in daily life. That is why finding an old and slightly worn example from 1981 is actually very normal and very authentic. It tells a real story of circulation, trade, and everyday use across shops, markets, buses, and families all over the country. Now let us talk about the history and condition of your coin in a simple and positive way. A 1981 Australian 20-cent coin in fine or very fine condition usually shows light to moderate wear on the highest points of the design. The queen's hair and facial details may be a little softer, and the platypus may not look as sharp as a brand new coin, but the main details remain clear and strong. When collectors describe a coin as fine condition, it means the coin has honestly circulated, but still keeps its identity and beauty. An old coin with natural wear is not a problem at all. In fact, for many collectors, this kind of coin feels more historical and more personal. Sometimes people notice brown or dark areas and call it rust, but it is important to understand that this coin does not actually rust in the traditional sense. The Australian 20-cent coin is made from a copper and nickel alloy, which means it can develop surface toning, stains, or dark patches over time. This natural aging is common, especially when coins are kept for many years in pockets, jars, or humid environments. As long as the surface is stable and not damaged by harsh cleaning, light discoloration does not destroy the value and can even make the coin look more interesting. When we talk about the shape and background appearance of this coin, we are really talking about how it was originally produced and stored. These coins were struck in large quantities and packed into large mint bags before being sent out to banks. Because of this, many coins show tiny marks and small contact lines from touching each other in those bags. The 20-cent coin is round in overall shape, but it has a very distinctive and attractive feature. The edge is not smooth. It has a scalloped or wavy edge that makes the coin easy to identify by touch and gives it a unique personality compared to other denominations. The composition of the 1981 Australian 20-cent coin is copper nickel, which is why it feels solid and slightly heavier than small bronze coins. This alloy was chosen because it is tough, long-lasting, and able to survive many years of daily handling without losing its structure. That durability is one of the reasons why so many 1981 coins still exist today in collectible condition. Now let us look at collector demand, which is an important and encouraging topic. The 1981 Australian 20-cent coin is not considered a rare key date, but it is still very popular among collectors who build complete date sets of Australian decimal coins. Many beginners and casual collectors enjoy searching for clean and attractive examples from every year. Because of this steady interest, the coin always has a place in the collector market. It is also very appealing to international collectors who like animal designs and coins that represent national identity. The platypus alone makes this coin stand out in albums and display trays. When it comes to today's market value in dollars, a 1981 Australian 20-cent coin in fine to very fine condition is usually valued close to its circulating level, but with a small collector premium. In most cases, a normal example with light wear and no major damage may sell for around $1.45, 0 to $75,000, depending on eye appeal, surface quality, and where it is sold. If the coin looks especially clean, has attractive natural toning, or comes from a well-presented collection, it can sometimes achieve a little more. The real excitement begins when collectors discover unusual errors or striking varieties, because those special pieces can be worth much more than a standard coin. For collectors who already own this coin or are thinking about adding one to their collection, there are a few simple and positive habits that can really help. The most important thing is to avoid cleaning the coin with chemicals or rough materials, because cleaning can permanently damage the original surface and reduce collector interest. It is far better to store the coin in a soft holder, a small coin flip, or a protective capsule. Keeping it away from moisture and extreme heat will help preserve its color and surface for many years. It is also a good idea to label the coin with the year and denomination so that your collection becomes easier to enjoy and share. If you enjoy searching through loose change, old jars, or family collections, take your time and look closely at each coin. Even common dates like 1981 can become special when you find one in better condition than expected. This slow and careful approach is one of the most enjoyable parts of coin collecting. To conclude, the Australia 20-cent coin from 1981 is a wonderful example of how everyday money can turn into meaningful history. Its strong copper-nickel composition, its unique scalloped edge, and its beautiful platypus design give it lasting charm. Even in fine condition, with natural aging and light wear, it remains a proud and attractive collectible. While its market value today is modest, its true value lies in the story it carries, the memories it represents, and the enjoyment it brings to collectors of all ages. Next up, today, in a positive and simple way, we are exploring a very interesting modern circulation coin, the Australia 20 cents 2009 coin, especially the example that shows a beautiful rust-brown tone and is graded in fine condition. This coin belongs to the everyday currency of Australia, and it was produced for public use by the famous Royal Australian Mint. The 20-cent coin has been part of Australian wallets since the introduction of decimal currency in 1966. And over the decades, it has become one of the most familiar and loved coins in the country. The 2009 issue continues this long and proud tradition. On the obverse side, the coin carries the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, created by sculptor Ian Rank Broadley, a design that represents stability, history, and the modern era of Commonwealth coinage. On the reverse side, you can see the iconic platypus, an animal that perfectly represents Australia's unique wildlife and has been associated with the 20-cent coin for many decades. When we talk about this history of this 2009 coin, it is important to understand that it was struck during a time when Australia was producing very large quantities of circulating coins to meet daily demand. These were not special collector-only pieces. They were made to be used, spent, saved in jars, and carried in pockets. That everyday background makes even a simple fine-condition coin feel special today, because it connects directly to real life and daily history. Now let us look closely at the condition of the coin. The example we are discussing today is described as fine condition. In coin grading, fine means that the major details are still clearly visible, the overall design is strong, and although there is noticeable circulation wear, the coin remains very presentable. The portrait still shows good outline, the lettering is readable, and the platypus design on the reverse remains clear. What truly makes this particular coin interesting is the natural rust-brown appearance. This is not rust in the damaging sense, because Australian 20-cent coins are not made of steel. Instead, this brown color is usually the result of long-term environmental exposure and surface toning. Many collectors actually enjoy this kind of natural patina because it gives the coin character and tells a story of where it has been and how it has lived through time. A soft brown tone can make a simple circulating coin feel warmer and more personal. From a technical point of view, the 2009 Australia 20 cents coin is a round coin with a distinctive edge style that helps people easily identify it by touch. The shape is perfectly circular and the coin feels solid in hand, which is one of the reasons the 20-cent denomination has remained unchanged in size and design for so many years. In terms of metal composition, the coin is made from a copper-nickel alloy. This combination gives the coin durability, resistance to corrosion, and a long life in circulation. Copper-nickel also explains why, after many years of use, storage and handling, some coins develop darker tones, brownish shades, or slightly uneven coloring. For collectors, this is part of the natural aging process of a circulating coin, not necessarily a defect. Now let us talk about collector demand, which is always an important topic for anyone who is starting or growing a collection. The 2009 Australia 20 cents coin is not considered a rare date. It was minted in large quantities, and many examples still exist today. However, demand does not depend only on rarity. Many collectors build complete date sets of Australian decimal coins, and for them, every single year is important. There is also a growing group of collectors who specifically enjoy toned coins and naturally colored surfaces. A rust brown or deep golden brown patina can make an otherwise common coin more attractive in a personal collection. New collectors, especially, often prefer affordable coins that still look interesting and different. And this is exactly where a fine-condition, naturally toned 2009 Australian 20-cent coin can find its place. Now we come to the most important question for many viewers, the current market value today in dollars. In today's general collector market, an Australia 20 cents 2009 coin in fine condition usually sells very close to its or only slightly above it. In most cases, the realistic market value today is around $1.20, $0 to $160,000, depending on the eye appeal, the strength of the details, and the overall look of the coin. If the rust brown toning is attractive and even, some buyers may be willing to pay a little more for its character, especially in small private sales or online platforms. It is important to remember that this value reflects normal circulation examples and not professionally graded or uncirculated coins. The true value of this coin is not only in money, but also in how it completes a collection and how it represents a specific year in Australia's modern coin history. For collectors who own this coin or are thinking of adding it to their collection, there are a few very positive and simple tips that can help protect its future. Always store the coin in a dry place, preferably in a coin holder or soft flip, to prevent further surface changes. Try not to clean the coin, especially when it already has a natural brown tone, because cleaning can permanently remove original surfaces and lower collector interest. Handle the coin by the edges when possible, so fingerprints do not affect the metal over time. If you are building a year-by-year set of Australian 20-cent coins, this 2009 issue is an essential and affordable addition that fits perfectly into any beginner or intermediate collection. In conclusion, the Australia 20 cents 2009 rust brown fine condition coin is a wonderful example of how ordinary circulation coins can still be meaningful, attractive, and enjoyable. It carries a long historical connection to Australia's decimal currency system. It shows a strong and iconic design, and its copper-nickel composition has allowed it to survive years of daily use. While its market value today remains modest, its true worth lies in its story, its natural character, and the joy it brings to collectors who appreciate real coins with real history. Next up, today we're diving into a fascinating little piece from down under the 2008 Australian 20 cents coin, especially those rusty brown-looking ones you might have found in your pocket or change jar. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just curious about coins, this video is going to give you a fresh, positive look at what makes this coin special and how much it could be worth today. Let's start with a bit of history and talk about the condition you might find this coin in. The Australian 20-cent piece was first issued back in 1966 as part of Australia's decimal currency system, replacing the older florin as part of the country's move to decimal money. The design you see on the 2008 coins features the effigy of Queen Elizabeth II on the front, the obverse, and the iconic swimming platypus on the back, the reverse. This design has been a favorite with collectors for decades and represents a nice blend of tradition and artistry. Now, if you're holding a 2008 Australian 20-cent coin that has developed a rusty brown color on both the front and back, it's most likely the result of natural toning or surface oxidation rather than damage. While copper-nickel coins don't rust in the traditional sense, prolonged exposure to moisture or certain environments can give them a reddish or brown patina. In fine condition, meaning it still has clear design details but shows signs of circulation. These coins tell a story of everyday use and circulation over the last decade or more. What makes such coins particularly interesting is how they show age and character while still retaining pleasing detail. Let's talk about the shape, composition, and physical feel of this coin. The 2008 Australian 20 cents is round, with a diameter of about the edge is reeded, giving it that familiar, slightly ridged feel around the rim. This composition gives the coin a good weight and resilience, which is why so many are still around today. Whether you're flipping one between your fingers or examining the details under a magnifier, you can really appreciate the care that went into. Collectors have a real love for these coins. While the 2008 Australian 20-cent pieces were produced in the millions, making them very common in standard circulated condition, there are always enthusiasts who enjoy building complete collections by year, by condition, or even by spotting interesting variations or minor errors. Because this coin carries the classic platypus design and marks an era of Australian coinage that many people grew up with, there's a nice ongoing demand from hobbyists who want to own one from every year. Even variations like slight dye differences, surface tones, or those unusual rust-brown finishes add character and can make your example more fun to talk about. So what does this coin sell for in today's market, especially if it's in fine condition? For most 2008 Australian 20-cent coins without any extraordinary error or rarity, the market price tends to stay around a few dollars in U.S. currency, often somewhere in the range of $2.10, $0 to $2.20, $0 for a circulated or fine example. Many listings you'll see online for uncirculated ones might sit around slightly higher, but in everyday condition, that brown tone 20 cents is both affordable and collectible. Now that said, there are exceptions. Some pieces with genuine errors, unusual minting varieties, or coins that have been professionally graded and authenticated by experts can attract much higher prices. But for the everyday collector just getting started, even a fine-condition 2008 Australian 20-cent coin is a great piece to have in your album, and it won't break the bank. If you're new to coin collecting or want to build a small but meaningful collection, here are a few tips to keep in mind. Always try to handle your coins by the edges so you don't leave fingerprints on the faces. Be sure to store them in a cool, dry place. Acidity, heat, and moisture can change the surface finish over time. If you think you have a rare variety or unusual mint error, consider having the coin professionally graded, as a third-party grading certificate can increase buyer confidence if you ever decide to sell or trade. And most importantly, enjoy the story behind each coin. It's these personal connections that make collecting so rewarding. To wrap things up, the 2008 Australian 20 cents coin, especially with that natural brown look on both sides, is a great representation of modern Australian coinage. It's historically interesting, made from classic copper-nickel composition, and has ongoing appeal among collectors worldwide. While most examples trade for just a few dollars, they're wonderful keepsakes and perfect for anyone passionate about coins.